What if I told you that renting could make you wealthier than owning your own home? I know, that sounds crazy. But in part one, I showed you exactly who should buy a house and how to do it the right way. But here's where a lot of professionals don't talk about is that buying a house for millions of people can become a financial trap and could cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost wealth. No one will tell you this. Financial gurus are busy selling you some sort of courses, but I will tell you what it exactly you need to know. So today I'm going to break down who should not buy a house even if they can afford it. And if you're in one of those situations and you buy it anyway, you could be making a bigger financial mistake in your life. So let's get into it. So, a little bit of context. In part one, we talked about Alex, someone whose life situation made ownership, the home ownership, the right choice. But not everyone's Alex. Today, we're going to meet Sarah, and her story is going to change the way you think about rent versus buy debate forever. So, let me introduce you to Sarah. Sarah is 28 years old. She makes $75,000 a year working in tech. She's good at what she does. She's currently renting a one bedroom apartment, $1,800 a month, and she saved up $50,000. That's enough for a down payment on a condo. Every family gathering, someone is asking, when are you going to buy a house and stop throwing away money on rent? Her parents keep sending her real estate listings, and her friends who bought a condo keep telling her that she's getting left behind. So you can understand the pressure is quite intense. But here's the thing, Sarah's situation is completely different from Alex. Sarah's job is in tech and it requires flexibility. She's had three job offers in the past 2 years, one in Toronto, one in Seattle, and one is fully remote. Her company is growing fast and she might relocate for promotion within the next 2 or 3 years. She's single, enjoys traveling, and values experience over possession. So she's not sure if she wants kids, and she's definitely doesn't see herself living in Vancouver long term. Does it sound familiar with you? So, this is also the reality of millions of young professionals in today's economy. So, the question is, should Sarah buy a house? And in this case, absolutely not. And here's why: the hidden costs that no one talks about. Let's talk about the numbers that everyone conveniently forgets to mention. Okay, Sarah finds this one bedroom condo that's listed for 550,000. She puts down 50,000. That's like 9%, which means she's got a mortgage of $500,000. Here's what her monthly cost would look like. Mortgage on a 5% interest would be like $2,900. Property tax is another 200 a month, strata 350, insurance 150, maintenance another 100 bucks. So the total monthly cost comes to about $3,700. Now compare that to her current rent of 1,800. That's almost double of what she's paying right now. But wait, it gets worse. That one-time cost, the down payment, 50,000, that's her entire saving. So on top of it, there's the closing cost, which is like the legal fee, property transfer tax, inspection, CMHC fee, because she's paying less than 20% and it's considered a high ratio mortgage. So you're going to pay for CMHC, which would depend. Then once you buy a house, of course, you feel like buying some furniture because you're not going to sit on the floor, I guess. So but take another 5 grand for furniture, then you should at least have an emergency repair fund, like another 10,000. And so before Sarah even moves in, she spent 50,000 and needs another 30 on top. That's 80 just to get started. Now, here's the part that destroys rent is throwing money away in an argument. Like in 1 year of a mortgage, with 2,900 going monthly payments, only about 500-600 goes towards the actual principal, which is building her equity. The other 2,300 is kind of like pure interest. The money just disappears like rent. So Sarah is paying $3,700 a month, but only 600 is building wealth. The other 3,100, that's basically rent paid to the bank and the Strata Corporation. Now let's talk about the opportunity cost. And here's where things really get interesting. And this is the part that changes everything. So let's compare these two scenarios over 5 years. Scenario one, she buys the condo, spends 50,000 on down payment. She's paying $3,700 a month, which is about $222,000 over 5 years. Okay. And she's going to build about $40,000 in equity, give or take. That's kind of like paying off the principal. If that condo appreciates at 3% per year, it's worth about 638,000 after 5 years. And let's say after selling, paying off the realtors is another 20 grand, 22 grand, depending on what they're charging in commission, she's netting about 612 minus the half a million mortgage she has. Now, let's consider her mortgage, which after 5 years should be, let's say, 460,000. So she's walking away with about 100 and, you know, $40,000. So after 5 years, she's made $140,000, but she's paid 272,000 to getting there. Now, consider scenario two. Let's say she keeps on paying rent. She's not buying a house. Her rent is $1,800 a month, and over 5 years, she's paying $108,000 in rent. Now, take that 50,000 down and invest it in an index fund at an 11% average return. The additional 1,900 dollars that she would save, that's like 3,700 minus the 1,800, put that also in the index fund. So after 5 years, her 50,000 will grow to approximately 85,000. Her monthly contributions of 1,900 add up to $114,000 contributed, growing to approximately 145,000. So net position after 5 years is close to $230,000 worth of investment. Let me repeat it. Sarah could be $130,000 wealthier by renting. And that's assuming if the condo appreciated at 3% a year, if there's no market correction, or if her building didn't have a special assessment for repairs, she could lose money on that purchase. But it's not just about the money. It's also about life's flexibility. I mean, money is important, but let's say Sarah gets the dream job in Seattle after 2 years of buying. Now what? Her options are either she sells the condo, pays the realtor fees, closing costs, blah, blah, blah. And if the market is dipped, then she might take a loss. Or she becomes a long distance landlord dealing with a property management company with tenant issues, maintenance from another country. um, Turn down the job opportunity and stay stuck compared to renting, she only gives 60 days notice and moves. That's it. So, in today's economy, where the average person is changing a job every 3 to 4 years and might need to relocate for a better opportunity, home ownership can become a golden handcuff that limits your earning potential. Your career growth in your 20s and 30s is your most valuable asset. A job opportunity that increases your income by 20,000 per year is worth more than any potential home appreciation. But if you locked into a property, you might have to pass on to that opportunity. So here's the solution. Who should not buy? All right, let's get into the specific. And you should not buy a house if you have one of these five situations. Number one, if you're not sure where you will be in 5 years. If your career requires flexibility, you're considering graduate school, or you might relocate for a relationship or opportunity, don't buy it. The transaction costs alone, which means the realtor fee, closing costs, moving expenses, will eat up any equity that you will build over the first 5 years. Point number two, um, you don't have a fully funded emergency fund. If that down payment represents your entire saving, you're not ready, period. Home ownership comes with surprise expenses. The water heater dies, that's $2,000. The roof leaks, that's $5,000. The Strata Council announces a special assessment for building repair, that's $15,000. If you can't handle these kind of repairs without going into debt, you're setting yourself up for a financial disaster. Rule of thumb, you need your down payment plus 6 months of expenses and another 10 to 15 just for home emergencies. Point number three, you should remember mortgage payments that stretches your budget. If you're looking at properties where the mortgage, tax, insurance, and fees total more than 35% of your gross income, you're overextending. You're going to become what we call in the industry as house poor, meaning sacrifices everything else, no travel, no investing, no fun money, Constant stress about money, that's not wealth building. That's a prison. Point number four, you value experiences over asset. This one is personal but important. Like, if you'd rather spend money on travel, hobbies, dining out, and experiences, then home ownership would force you to give up all that. Don't buy. Now, there's no shame in valuing lifestyle over asset accumulation. The Instagram worthy kitchen renovation mean nothing if you're miserable and you cannot afford to do the things that you love. Now, that being said, doesn't mean you're going on vacation every 3 months and you're eating out at restaurants every night and you're ordering skip the dishes. No, if it has to be in moderation. So if you're buying a house and you cannot do any of these things and you're like literally scraping off your paycheck just to pay a mortgage, that's what I'm trying to say here. Point number five. If you're only considering to buy because your parents are nagging at you or your friends bought and you feel that you're being left behind in life, like just stop. This is the worst possible reason to make the biggest financial decision in your life. You'll end up resenting the property and monthly payments, and you'll make a poor choice just to check a box. So, what should you do instead? If you're in Sarah's situation, you shouldn't buy. And what should you do in that case? So, there's another five things that I can say that could help you. So, strategy number one would be to invest aggressively. Take whatever you have as your down payment, invest in a low cost index fund, add to it monthly with the money you save from renting. And over 10-15 years, this could grow into a portfolio worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, giving you far more options than a single property ever could. Strategy number two is to rent strategically. Like, live below your means, rent a place that's good enough, not perfect. The difference between an $1,800 apartment and a $2,500 apartment is $700 a month. That's $8,400 a year that could be used for investing. Of course, location matters too, so renting in a prime location near work might save you 2 hours on commuting daily, and that time is worth money and sanity. Strategy number three, stay flexible and build your skills. Use this time to maximize your earning potential. Take courses, build your network, switch jobs for raises, negotiate aggressively, increasing your income from 75,000 to 120,000 over 5 years, and build more wealth than any home appreciation would. Strategy number four, revisit the decision every 2-3 years. Just because you shouldn't buy now doesn't mean never. As your life changes, you settle down, your income increases, you commit to a location, homeownership might make sense then. So you should reassess regularly. So, should you buy a house? Not if you value flexibility, not if it stretches your finances, not if you're doing it because everyone else is. The truth is, renting isn't throwing money away. Buying the wrong property at the wrong time is. Make the decision that's right for your life, not the decision that looks good on social media. If you found this helpful, hit the like button. And if you're in Surrey or Lower Mainland area and you want honest advice on whether buying makes sense for you, not just a sales pitch, like reach out. I'm here to help you make the right decision for your situation. Until next time, stay smart with your money.